The Alesis Strata Prime Electronic Drum Kit has been out for 6 months, which means it is time for a 6-month review. First impression of the kit, I love it. Absolutely love it and would highly recommend. As a content creator, not only was the acoustic feel of the kit very important, but also the acoustic look as well. Full-sized drums, full-sized cymbals on a big rack and a gigantic kick drum. It looks incredible. The acoustic feel of the drums, as I mentioned, is also really good. Obviously, the rubber cymbals aren't going to feel like metal cymbals, but the drums themselves feel really accurate. Through my job as an instrumental music teacher, I go to a whole bunch of different schools and teach things like drums. And with all of the acoustic kits that I've played and taught with, this quite easily matches up with all of those. But it's better. The mesh heads on these drums, first of all, are really good for longevity. I can play a lot longer on these mesh heads because they're a little bit softer while still retaining that acoustic feel. But because they're a little bit softer, that means that the entire time I've had this kit, I've only gone through one stick. Before we move on and discuss all of the positives about this kit, I want to first take a little step back and discuss the one negative, my only one problem that I have with the Alesis Strata Prime. Velocity is a very common term that you will find in the eardrum world, and it simply means the speed or the power in which you hit your drums. One of my favorite aspects about this kit, which we'll discuss more in depth a little bit later on, is a low velocity, so a very lack of speed and power hit, that produces a low velocity sound, and a high velocity equals a high velocity sound. So it's not just one sound quieter and louder, it's actually got these little tonal variations. Again, I'll talk about all of that a little bit later, but what I want to discuss here is sometimes there is a triggering issue where I will hit a high velocity hit on my kick drum, so a proper, good, strong, powerful sound, and instead of producing that really good, strong, powerful sound, I get a low velocity sound from a high velocity hit. So instead of this, I might instead just get a little one of those, while still using that high velocity, big thump sort of a kick. The problem that I have there, I also experience on the snare. I'll do just a basic beat, and sometimes when I hit the snare, it does that low velocity instead of the solid high velocity hit that I want. So I'll do this. And I'll get that sound instead of a good hit like I want. I have researched the triggering issue that we're having, and it seems like the problem is within the module itself, so it will just come down to an update from Alesis, and hopefully that problem will be eliminated. With the triggering issues aside, the kit still looks great, it feels good to play, and it sounds incredible as well because of the BFD software that's included with the module. BFD is a company that will take something like an acoustic snare into their professional studio with all their professional microphones and their professional players, and they'll hit a snare drum just by itself with that sort of velocity about 1 million times, record it about 1 million times, and average out that sample, do it again at different velocities, and then by the end of all their recording, they're averaging, I don't really know how it works, but after all of that, they then create a really good acoustic sounding sample that you can add to your electric kit. And the Alesis Strata Prime comes with this BFD software included in the kit. Alesis do of course have their own samples for the module, which they've called Alesis Prime Acoustic and then Electronic. But then we've got the BFD ones, BFD Dark Farm, and the Percussion Collection. I've got a tutorial for how to download all of those. I'll link it in the description and it will be in one of these corners. Before we move on and have a look at the module, I want to just quickly show you how I record the Strata Prime. At the back of the module, I have these two XLR cable inputs. I just run that through into my audio interface and then of course that into my DAW. As you've just seen, my audio interface has only got the 2 inputs, which means I can only run the 2 XLR outputs from the back of the module, but I do have the 4 assignable outputs that I could use if I had a bigger audio interface that I believe you can separate to different components of the drum. For me and my ears, I'm completely fine just having the 2 XLR outputs. Of course, the 4 assignable outputs would be that next step up, but as long as I have all of my settings, which is threshold, sensitivity, panning, and everything in the drums, as long as all of that in the module is set perfectly, I'm usually quite happy with the recording. Speaking of the module, not only does the module look good, it is also very simple to use. Here is our homepage, and I can use this to cycle through every single kit on the module, or we can go over here to browse. And this will now list every single factory kit here that comes with the module. If I go over to this button there, we've got playlists. Under the user kits, that's where everything that I download, like the 5 free BFD kits, that's where they will save, plus any changes that we make to any of the other kits, they will also save here, and I can then transfer them over to their own playlists like mine here. My kits, these are the kits that I use for all of my music and for YouTube. If I press the kit button, we go back to the home page, and underneath browse we have edit. This is where I can edit, select, and make any sort of tweak adjustments that we need to do for the sounds of any of the drums. And if I go to the bottom here, I have my trigger settings where I can then make any adjustments that I need to, any tweaks that I need to, for the actual triggers on each of the individual drums. These are your kit settings, and here is your module settings. I can go here to Bluetooth on the left, and I can now choose my phone to connect up to Spotify, or if I go to Info at the top, down the bottom I have got Update, where the module will not only figure out if it is up to date, but it will also update the module if it needs to over Wi-Fi, which is very clever. Everything else with the module is pretty much self-explanatory if you just start exploring through how it works. But if you need any assistance with that, I do have a tutorial on how to use the ALESIS Strata Prime module, which I'll link in the description below. To finish up the review, we're going to use the rock kit that I built in a video. I'll link that in the description in one of these corners as well. I've got Ste cymbals and I think birch tom-toms and kick. We're going to use this kit to have a look at all of the triggers that you'll find on the drums and the cymbals. Starting with the drums, you've got your cross stick, or your rim on all the drums, 360, which is a really nice touch, and then you've got your rim shot, and then your center hit. Kick drum is that. Your cymbals also have 3 zones: edge, bow, and bell. Same on your hi-hat as well. Then of course, alongside the 3 zones that you've got all of those available all the way around the cymbal, which is your 360 zone. So I can hit the cymbal at the back, choke it off the side, and do that. All of this has of course got choking, but you can choke the cymbal and do a little hit like that, which is also very clever. Very realistic feel, that. And then I have seen the professionals do a stick choke where they kind of, haha, that's the first time I've ever done that properly. That was cool. I can't do that all the time. Okay. That way's cooler anyway. I don't know why people would do it like that if you can go. It's just cooler. I also don't really want to break the kit. That's not to say that the rack and the mounts aren't sturdy, because they are quite well built. A good build quality for all of the mounts and the rack and every component, aside from the drums and the cymbals, for the kit. But it's cooler. The final thing that I'd like to mention is the module comes with 14 inputs for drums. Currently we are using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for the hi-hat cymbal, 11 for the hi-hat control, which is this really cool magnetic thing going on that's really, really accurate actually. So we have 11 of the 14 cables already in use, which means we have 3 remaining. Now I don't know if this is an official product just yet because it isn't listed on the Alesis website, but there seems to be an expansion pack. With the expansion pack not necessarily being an official Alesis product, I can't really get it here in Australia. In America, I know that Sweetwater sell it, but again, I can't really get it here. So what I had to do was email the music store that I frequent, where I bought my Ibanez, Martin, Strat, Tele, a whole bunch of different stuff, and I said, any chance you can source one for me? And after about a week, they came back and said, yep, we've got one for you. It's on its way. It just might take about a week, a month or two. And I said, yeah, that's cool. Don't really mind waiting. Thank you. So that is on its way and will be here hopefully by the end of October or early November. And then I'll do a whole video on the expansion pack, unboxing it, demoing it, and teaching you how to set it up with your module. That is everything that I wanted to cover in this review. So let's just do a really brief summary over everything that we looked at for this video. We have acoustic looking and feeling drums. In terms of the sound without the headphones, by the way, the mesh head on the drums is pretty good. It's what you'd expect from an electric kit, but the rubber cymbals are quite loud. With the headphones on and the BFD software included with the module, the kit of course sounds great. You've got over 400 samples that you can choose from to edit or build your own kits. The module itself, as we've said, is not only a really good looking module, but is also very practical and very functional. The only thing that I hope that we get from Alesis is an update to figure the triggering issues I'm having with mostly the kick and the snare. With that problem solved, I'd be really, really comfortable with this kit. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, thank you all so much for watching. In the description, I will link a few videos that will be demos and tutorials for things that I've done with the Strata Prime. Of course, you can find that on my channel. Please like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Thank you for watching. I will see you later.